I was basically from theatre, so I used to run a theatre company called Theatre Action Group. Mohit and I set up a teamwork. The idea was really to provide employment for people in our theatre company who otherwise don't have a way to be able to earn a living. So that was the way it started. So in the UK, many of the universities started inviting me to give a lecture, because I speak their language, I look presentable, diversity, tick the box, brown skin, so. And that created a network, and the network resulted in us creating our first platform at the Edinburgh Festival in 2000. And what we did is we created a platform that actually just transcended all the divides, and we presented across and we marketed it across, which now, that was 2000, this is 2016. 2015, the Scottish government finally adopted that as their big new brainwave thingamajig. But to cut a long story short, we presented in Edinburgh, and as they say, once there was a Safed chap, you become acceptable. So we were invited by Singapore to set up, and then from there we went to Indonesia and Australia, and now 26 festivals in 42 cities in however many countries. The reason why the IT sector and the beauty sector boomed in the 80s and 90s in India is because there was no ministry and there was no government support in these areas. Governments actually have very little business except for creating the systems and the platforms and the taxation regimes to encourage startup. In India, the problem is to do anything is like pulling teeth. We have to crack the legal system first and foremost. Until unless we have swift resolution to issues and problems, you're not going to be seeing an acceleration in this area. Controversies for the sake of controversy is a problem. And what people don't understand is, controversy be exciting for that moment. The debris that gets left behind is enormous. Please remember the kind of resources and the energy that goes into any festival, and especially this one, is huge. And to have this as an added factor or a Damocles sword hanging over your head till the nth minute is very difficult to contend with. So I'm sure controversies have their space in the development of everything, but it's really trying. It costs a lot of money. It's a drain on all of us, and the pressure of it is really complicated and complex, especially in a country like India. In the past, where the media was needed to hunt for stories that may have been true, so over the last few years, and I don't know whether you've noticed, we actually send out way more stories today to the media, so they don't have to go and create a controversial story. We send it because our thing is that the controversy then takes over everything. You forget that some of the biggest and brightest minds come here. You have a Stephen Fry, you have a Margaret Atwood. If there was a controversy, people would not be reporting on that. They would be reporting on the controversy, not what they have to say and share. But why aren't they reporting what these people are saying? Will these people come back to India? Maybe not. And they have so much to give, so many incredible ideas. So what's the problem? Karan Johar said something yesterday, and that was taken out of context. He was talking about sexuality and coming out, and all of these issues, etc. And the fact that till the laws changed, you are frightened to be able to speak out. That's the context in what he made a statement. It's completely being blown out of proportion. Back to Desh Drohi and all of this kind of stuff. Similarly, with the only question I was asked before the festival by a lot of the local press was, वो award वापसी वाले कब आ रहे और आपका क्या view है? Hello, do we really invite them because they award vapasi or not award vapasi, or they've got an award or whatever? No, we award them because of the quality of the work that they've done. irrespective, doesn't matter to us. It may matter to the press, but hey, With teamwork, when we started this journey, and more recently, some years ago, when we took in some equity into our company, it took me a year to be convinced that that's what we needed to do. The reason why I said yes was I said, let's try and build a company in the field of the art that can create tangible wealth outside of intangible wealth. Because if we can show that this model is successful, then many other companies in the arts world will be able to do the same thing and not look at subsidy as the prime driver of the art sector as it is in Europe. We have a great tradition in our family of being able to give back to those who don't have enough. One day my accountant said to me, to give away the kind of money that you give away in the way that you do, you have to make more money. You can't just continue to give away your money that you don't have. So I said, okay, let's start making money. So if that's made me an entrepreneur, yes.
Well, this Jaipur Literature Festival was kind of my idea. It came out of the previous Jaipur Literature Festival, which Faith Singh had organised with her husband John. After 2 or 3 years of doing literature within the Jaipur Literature Festival, the organisation split, and Namita was already involved in programming with me and several others, Pramod KG and various other people, the literature bit within the Jaipur Literature Festival. But in the end, we brought Sanjoy, and Sanjoy took on the production, and Namita and I, who'd been advising rather than directing the Faith operation, which was coming out of the Virasat Foundation, decided to step in as full-time directors rather than advisors. And so in 2007, we started the first Jaipur Literature Festival. Initially, that year, 150, 200 people turned up, and we were very lucky because we managed to get Salman Rushdie. It was his first appearance in India, and it was a huge success. And it's a very successful partnership, and in a sense we cover for each other. My job, the basic, it isn't watertight, but the basic organisation is that I'm basically the Foreign Office. It's my job to bring in 60 foreign stars from outside India, while Namita is basically the Home Office and particularly focuses on Bhasha writing, which is her great passion, the writing in India, which is not in English. Neither of us are remotely practical, and Sanjoy provides the administrative genius who has kept this growing monster working, tethered, organised, beautiful, attractive, free. I remember first, like everyone, I think first sees Sanjoy as the guy with the long grey hair. He's a very distinctive looking figure. I had, in a sense, I had no conception of the scale of the work Sanjoy did, or even, and now does, on a far greater scale 10 years later, until I started working with him. Extraordinary how many different kettles he has in the fire at one moment. Teamwork has so many things going. It isn't as if everything gets done. I'd say he keeps about 90% of the balls in the air. There are sometimes things that go wrong, and particularly with the festival, I think the big challenge has always been raising the money for it because it's free. These controversies barely exist. The problem is we have a press corps of 750, and of those, only about 10 are actually literary journalists and know who the authors are. So we have effectively every year 740 journalists waiting for a story. And if they're not interested in literature, which many of them are not, they have to invent one. So I think the controversies are cooked up by the journalists, very largely. The only substantial controversy we had was on Salman Rushdie's purported second visit, when we were told by intelligence services that assassins were allegedly heading to assassinate him. That obviously is a real story. Whether or not these assassins ever existed, we'll never know.
Being an entrepreneur is a lifestyle choice. You have to struggle. You're going to have time that you have a rupee or a dollar in your pocket and nothing else. You have to live with your dream. You have to believe that that dream at some point of time may come true. You have to learn to be able to reshape your dream without losing the essence of it. You have to listen. You have to understand You have to go out and learn. You must meet people, not who you can talk down to or you can order, but people who you can respect and admire and understand and take an idea from them and marry it with another. And that's how you can become an entrepreneur. In today's day and age, we tend not to listen. We tend to Google, or we tend not to listen. We tend to think that we know everything about anything. If that's how you're going to start being an entrepreneur, it's a losing battle. It's downhill from there. At every point, every day, every hour, every minute, there's a lesson waiting to be learned.
So start ignition, count to zero. I just wanna be a superhero.